Hi, my name is Venkateka. I work in electric vehicles technology area. So this presentation is to talk about electric vehicles that are available today in the industry, and also talk about the future technology that we have. The intention of this presentation is to generate awareness about electric vehicles, and most of the material compiled for this presentation is available on the internet and YouTube. Uh, and I hope I'm not infringing upon anybody's secret or private information. I also uh, basically gave the source for each and every uh, slide wherever applicable about this material that I secured from internet. With that, let's get going. Electric vehicles is right now they're available in the industry. Tesla, Ford, GM, and Volkswagen are offering Audi, again Volkswagen, are offering many vehicles for customers. So this presentation helps with general awareness. What are the drivers for this technology and why we should not buy these vehicles. And I just wanted to capture some of the real facts as a owner of electric vehicle. And so hopefully this is helpful to a lot of customers who are either looking into buying, already have electric vehicles at their garages. With that, we'll go to the next slide. Why we need electric vehicles today? As you can see, this particular chart below, this is a global warming chart, and if you see, I tried to highlight. This is it's an eye chart. Excuse me for this. But I think it is almost like 800 years that the temperature was hovering between this band. And currently, after 1950, we went the the uh, the carbon levels. This is a chart for carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and we went above around 300 uh, parts per million, which is a measure for the pollution in the environment. And at 1950, around that area, we went to almost 300 to 450, and we are not coming down. As you can see, past 800 years, we have been 2000 years, we have been uh, fluctuating between 260 and 200 or 180, but never we touched 300. Maybe once we touched around, I would say 1700, but again we came back to 200. But from 1950 onwards, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has gone up and it's not coming down. So in order, the reason for this is our dependence on gasoline and petroleum related products, coal related industry that we have. And the problem with this high levels of carbon dioxide is, as you can see, global warming and increase of ocean water levels, submerging a lot of islands in Pacific Ocean or Indian Ocean. So there's a lot of evidence that this is definitely a man-made disaster, catastrophe, And Paris Agreement says that we need to reduce the or limit the temperature rise to 1.5 degrees centigrade, bring down CO2 emissions closer to zero, net zero by mid-century 2050. The reason or the driver for that goal is to introduce carbon neutral, or basically technologies, renewable technologies like solar, wind farms, or electric vehicles. So those are the primary drivers for why we should adapt to electric vehicles, though they are expensive. Maybe they are 30% more expensive than gasoline, but there are benefits to electric vehicles. So how does an electric vehicle work? Um, if you see, we have this gasoline or petrol engines, which are basically working due to the chemical property where these are combustible, and they push the piston within an engine by a blast with a spark plug, and that's how the vehicle moves. The problem with it is the once we have this mobility solution, we also have a side effect of carbon dioxide getting into the atmosphere. So battery electric vehicles work in a different way. What they do is they're not completely carbon neutral, or basically they do consume electricity which is generated by coal in a remote power plant for sure, but it doesn't uh, it doesn't have the the vehicle itself emitting carbon dioxide. So at least that is hundreds of millions of vehicles on the streets are not emitting carbon dioxide. So that will be an advantage. So the way it works is it takes a battery pack, what they call, these are almost like 7,000 units of lithium ion cells. So that's a technology that we have, lithium ion batteries, which is prevalent today. And they feed the power into an inverter. And once we have this inverter, we draw current from this battery, and then we have an induction motor that drives the wheels of a automobile. Now, of late, maybe 15 years or 20 years, we have something called regenerative braking, which is also helping with lowering the emissions. The way it works is previously a braking system would also result into a heat energy, and that's how the brake drums get overheated and we need to have a cooling system. But thanks to the innovations and our engineers, we're able to convert this kinetic energy into electric, powering the electric vehicles, or powering the start and stop of a vehicle. So basically, if you stop a vehicle, the energy that is in the braking is reused with a small battery at the wheels, and that's how the hybrid vehicles like Prius and Fusion Hybrid came about 15 years back, and they also contributed to increasing the mileage. Right now, previously, if you are familiar with miles per gallon, which is a good measure for a typical vehicle, it is anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per gallon. If it is a truck, it is the lower end, and if it is a car, a passenger vehicle, it's like 25, 27. that number has been pushed to 40 due to this hybrid vehicle technology, regenerative braking. And now with electric vehicles, we were totally using electric vehicles to power the automobile. So if you see this electric vehicles, there is a bed of batteries from your previous engine back to the rear wheels. It's almost like a mattress um, at the underneath the seats, going from the steering wheel to the rear tires. This is where that 7,000 cells, small cells, fit in, and this is how electric vehicle architecture looks like from a high level. Sorry, I'm back again. This particular slide shows the number of parts for a three-cylinder gas engine. And if you can see, there are pistons, piston rings, valves, and almost like if I count these parts, there are 2,000 parts. These parts have been reduced to by 90% in electric vehicles. If you see, it's very simple. These are the vehicle, the powertrain, if you will, or the engine replacement parts that we have in electric motors. So 90% of them have been reduced as part of this electric vehicles technology. Now, why we need electric vehicles? They are faster, safer, better, and stronger. EV platform is above 90% efficient. Suppose if you have a gasoline engine, the efficiency is way lower than 90%. If I'm not wrong, it's almost like 50% or 40% that we have used the gasoline engine effectively to drive or to run the automobile. But in this case, EV platform is 90% efficient. 35% is what is internal combustion engine efficiency is. EVs, electric vehicles, don't need gears. All the torque is available all the time and very quick. The acceleration is amazingly fast. No more oil changes, no maintenance for electric vehicles. And electric vehicles are safer. Two reasons. One is lower center of gravity and lack of inflammable tank, though batteries are also inflammable with the current technology, but they're not as inflammable as a tank of gas. The fuel costs, miles per gallon, they say, though the capital costs are higher, the new vehicle costs like 30% higher than a conventional gasoline vehicle, internal combustion engine vehicle. EVs are the running cost of an EV with regard to gasoline or fuel expenses is almost 50% of a gas vehicle, petrol vehicle. Then if you combine, if you see this particular pictorial to the bottom, here the customer is using a solar roof to charge his electric vehicle, and that is the future. Now here everything is self-sustained. There's no power grid. We might still have I don't think a solar roof today can fully power electric vehicle as well as run the whole home, unless it is a big solar farm. But we are getting there. I think with new solar strides in solar technology, we might be at some point we will be self-sufficient with regard to our energy needs in a remote area where we don't depend on a grid. So I was trying to use this highlighter. Somehow it's not working, but the thing we need to see is in the initial generation 2012 and 15, the mileage basically per charge was around 100 miles. Then we have 2016 onwards, we are getting e-Golf, Bolt from GM, Tesla. They're all into 250, 300 range. Right now, the electric vehicles are popular because of this higher miles per charge number with the technology. This is an eye chart, but if you see, these are the range of vehicles that are available. And I would like you to focus on um, one number, which is EPA range. And this range is important. So if you see Mustang Mach-E is around 300. Uh, then you have Teslas also a very high number. So these are all vehicles that are available today, and Model S. So if you see Teslas, they are 300. This one and 390 Model S Plaid. So this number EPA range is important. This is number of miles you get per each charge, right? And top speed also is a very interesting column. 0 to 60 number of seconds. We have anywhere from 5 seconds or less. If we see Teslas, they are around 3.9. So you can see this at leisure to see what is offered in the industry. This is a chart for different regions globally, how fast every region is adapting. If I see this correctly, China is on a path to make everything electric, 50% of the vehicles electric by 2030. So it is adapting at a very faster pace. I think then even the US is around 28-30% because the volume of US vehicles is very high, 17 million vehicles. We have this for EV global share of sales, but I think so we have Europe also a close follower to China. Now this is an interesting chart. What is the cost of a electric vehicle versus gasoline vehicle in terms of fuel costs? So this chart depends upon the price of the gas. If I assume today's price is $2.7, $2.70 per gallon. So roughly it comes to 12 cents per mile. So this is where we are with regard to gasoline vehicles. And electric vehicles, this is what 77 cents per gallon. And if the cost, the unit cost of electricity, if it is 10 cents, you'll get 77 cents. So 2.7 and 77 cents, almost like 3 times, more than 3 times. So this is what it is. 3.5 cents per mile. It is to run an electric vehicle distance wise, the fuel charges versus almost like more than 3 times is gasoline. So very interesting chart. And also with regard to technology, I picked this pink line, which is 3 miles per kilowatt hour. That's our going rate. But there are new technologies which are even EV2, which are, sorry, this EV4, 4 miles per kilowatt. If I go there, the number of cents per mile is even lower. So almost 3.5 times higher gasoline charges, fuel charges. Now this is another chart uh, where you have maintenance, a big component. If you buy a vehicle and you drive it for 100,000 miles, typically you will spend 14,000 in the fuel cost and 15,000 in the maintenance cost. But if you go to the solar, as I said in the solar roof model, you will be spending 2,600 and maintenance of 3,800. Maintenance here is maybe tires replacement or brake pads. That's it. There's no oil change, nothing of that sort. Okay. Now, how do we charge electric vehicles? If you buy an electric vehicle, you'll be given a default AC level 1 adapter. It goes to a 3-pin plug, typically used for washer and dryer. So you can charge, but the rate of charge is very less. If you're not driving that much, you can survive. Per hour, it is 5 miles per hour. Suppose if you want to, if you're traveling 50 miles per day, maybe this is sufficient. But I would recommend, like me, you need to go to level 2 charger. Level 2 charger, there is a cost to it. Like typically you'll spend 1,500 to 2,000. You will spend 2,000, then local utility companies give you a rebate because of this incentive to get you to level 2 charger. And if you see, this is almost 4 times faster than your level 1 charger. I would definitely recommend this charging. But if you're planning to go out of station to another city, you will find plenty of chargers which are DC fast chargers, and you can pay through a credit card. And these are 20 to 30 minutes. They charge 80%. So I just went to Chicago, and I can share some of my experiences from Detroit to Chicago. The thing we need to be careful about is first of all, identify a charger in the map. Most of these connected vehicle apps from OEMs like Ford and Tesla and GM, they provide you with an app which tells you where the DC fast charging stations are on your way to a point A to point B. It's called Combined Charging System. This is very popular, CCS. And what happens is, if you have to be careful, like there is a small flip, um, a small, you have to remove this to get to these 2 pins. So that's how the charger looks like. So it's a CCS2 charger. This is widely available on all the freeways, Sam's Club, and most of the big shopping complexes. The If you see a Tesla charger, you cannot use non-Tesla vehicles getting charged because the plug is not compatible. I think it works the other way. A Tesla vehicle have an adapter for CCS, and they can charge from CCS. The way the charging works is the DC fast charging. The way it works is First 10% they give you maximum charging 150 kilowatts. That's my vehicle, Mustang Mach-E. This is a Mustang Mach-E chart. Then it goes down to uh, almost like 100 kilowatt capacity, and finally after 80% it will reduce to um, almost 10%. So it's by seeing this chart, it's typical for you in the best interest to charge only till 80%, not go to the 100%, because it is very efficient after 80%. So this is my home charger, and if you see, this is my typical charging cycle. Like I have a plan from DTE, um, our utility company, which starts a good rate for me after 11 p.m. So if I typically charge, I go and basically I have this 12 kilowatt capacity all the way till morning 7 o'clock. Then it goes down. So this is what a 300 miles I get charged as $8.66 for 300 miles, which is almost like buying 10 gallons. 10 gallons, if I take 2.7, $2.70 or $3 is $30. So you can see this is, I'm paying $8. If you fill up a gas for equivalent miles, it is $30. So 3.5 times more. Definitely makes a case to buy an electric vehicle. Electric vehicles are not new. This is an advertisement from 1912. This is selling Baker electric vehicles, a lady getting into a luxurious electric vehicle. And we used to have a charger, like this charger, this lady is charging, just like today in 1912. And we have another vehicle on the street. The reason why they did not take off is the mileage with those battery technologies was only 40 miles. So when we were trying to move from city to city after 1920, after World War One, there was no solution to go from one city to another. Within a city, it was not a problem. There is a term called range anxiety, which means when do I run out of charge? So the impediments, the problems with EV technologies are electric vehicles have shorter range than gas-powered vehicles. If you fill up a tank, typically 15 gallons, you get to drive 450 miles or 500 miles with one tank of gas. Then you have plenty of gas stations, and refilling a tank should not take more than 5 minutes. So that's the comfort level we have with gas. And even we have AAA and roadside assistance that you can see a roadside assistance with a small can of gasoline or petrol to help you out when you're stuck in a remote area or a freeway. That's what we are used to for last 50 or 70 years. Now with electric vehicles, we are afraid of we are losing this comfort zone and getting into charging and new technology. But I think if you see this chart here, these are the from Detroit to Chicago, we have many DC fast chargers. You can take a break at any of these DC fast charging stations for 30 minutes and you get 80% of your charge back in 20 to 30 minutes. I did go to Chicago and I drove from Detroit to Kalamazoo, a city called Portage in this area, and I was able to recharge my vehicle to 80% within 20 minutes with a credit card and went to Chicago and came back and recharged again at the same point. If you are really stuck, roadside emergency, they have these portable blink mobile generators, which will give you like 20 minutes, 20 miles to the nearest charger. So if you are stuck between two DC fast chargers, they will just charge you for the next DC fast charger, and then you can go and charge. We have this battery technologies. A lot of companies are making batteries. If you see, LG Chem is the biggest company. Then CATL, Panasonic, Tesla uses Panasonic, and SK Innovation. I think it's a Taiwan, like a South Korean company. So Baidu. So these are the big battery manufacturers and their share in these electric vehicles. This is the EV charger cost. Just wanted to show you. I spent like 2,200 and I got my $500 back with this. This is the amperage. This is the detail about circuit breaker amperage, but this is what you need to spend if you want to have a level 2 charger at home. We get $500 DT rebate for a home charger. Vehicles like Ford Mustang Mach-E have this federal tax credit right now, $7,500, and this is a you need to claim in your taxes, and typically you claim it in Schedule 3. There is an additional credits and payments, and you have to put it in the line number 6. The tax credit will come off from your payable taxes. This is currently applicable to Ford. I think they do first 200,000 vehicles. So Tesla might have reached that number, and GM might have already reached. Ford, you still have it. So if you again, they have reduced it. They have not make it 0. You still get some amount at Tesla and GM's, but for Ford vehicles, all the newer companies, till they reach 200,000 vehicles, you still get 7,500 tax credit from federal government. There are some state credits also. In California, I saw a stated credit from certain areas. Solid state batteries. These are right now we have lithium ion have a fluid as part of the battery, which is still not safe. Solid state batteries are your regular batteries you use at home for your appliances, and they are very safe. So they want to do the same thing for electric vehicles. QuantumScape has this technology in 2025, and Solid Power is another company which Ford and Hyundai are partnering with. Then Toyota is partnering with Abul Samid, GM, LG, they're all working on solid state batteries. You can click on this link, which talks about uh, this new battery technologies. I also put in some new vehicles that are available today, 2021. And there's another thing I want to mention is NIO, which is a Chinese electric vehicle company, a luxury Chinese electric vehicle company. They offer something called battery swapping, which is instead of charging at home or on a DC fast charging, you go to a battery swapping station and they swap the battery to full charge within 3 minutes. It's a very exciting technology that only this company is offering. And they have also a new model called ET7 that is coming up next year, which is very impressive with regard to the vehicle, what they can offer in a vehicle, electric vehicle. So that completes my presentation, and hopefully you have learned or enjoyed this presentation. Definitely, I think this is an helpful uh, content for a lot of customers or already who own a vehicle or who are trying to buy a vehicle. I wanted to do this for all the new customers and of electric vehicles. With that, thank you for sitting through the presentation, and definitely in future I'll come back with an improved material or added technologies to this particular presentation and present another version of it. Thank you very much. Bye.